morning and welcome. Good morning and welcome to America's Home Cooking. This morning I'm making sourdough hamburger buns today, and I'm also going to show you my culture and show you how it works. I've had this culture for 2 years now, and as you can see, it's very active. You see that? And if you look inside of it, which you can't, it's very foamy. What I do is I beat this down every day. And what I add to it every morning is 1/4 of a cup of bread flour and 1/4 of a cup of cold water, and I feed it every day. Now, if it gets to be too much, I usually take it and bury it in my garden. But during the winter, I'd have to throw it out if I'm not using it. Just part of it, but it's been active ever since. I just keep on using it, you know? So this is my active culture, and they say as long as you feed it, it will last, and it does. It's been 2 years, and if you miss a feeding, you can kill it and have to start all over. Like I told you, in the spring, I'll show you how I do it. And what I do is I beat this flour in, and it's smooth, and it's runny like this. It's really, really good. Now, all sourdoughs are measured by San Francisco standard. Let me get this in the refrigerator. I put it in the bottom of my refrigerator to make sure it doesn't go bad. And they are the judge of all our sourdoughs. Now, sourdough, there's over 400 microbes that you have to catch in the air. That's why I'm going to show you how to do that in the spring. But right now I'm going to be talking about, I'm making hamburger rolls. So I want you to see, I started this with 1/2 cup of my starter, 1/2 cup of bread flour, and 1/4 of a cup of cold water. I beat it like crazy, and I repeated that I put it in a warm place, which is the dining room, and I let it rise. And then what I did last night was I gave it 1/2 cup of bread flour and 1/4 of a cup of water, and I beat it again, and this is it this morning. Now if you take a look, it's got a rough crust on it. A lot of people take that off. Do not take it off. You beat it back into this batter and into the rolls that we're going to make. And now I'm ready to put these together because this is fully activated and it's had 2 rising, so it's going to have a nice mild sourdough taste. Okay, let me get the milk out. Now, if you wish to make these and not use sourdough, at the end of the video, I will give you the proper ratio. Now, because I used 2 1/4 cups of liquid, I have to minus it from the recipe. So I'm going to be minusing 1/2 cup of liquid and making the difference up. So I'll be using 1/2 cup of milk. Put the 1/2 cup of milk in here, and you want, I know I'm going to be going back and forth, and butter, we want 4 tablespoons of butter in there. So let me get 4 tablespoons. We're going to put this on a low flame to melt the butter. All right. So while that's going on, we're going to grease a hamburger pan. If you don't have it, I guess you could make like round rolls, or you could buy the pan. I don't remember where I got it from. I think I got it from Chef Magazine. don't hold me to it because I've had it a very long time. But this is my hamburger pan. See, sourdough is very important because each one of those microbes break down the minerals and stuff, so you don't have a problem with it. It helps break down, it feeds thy digestive system and all. It's really quite helpful, and it's very, very good for you. Now, if you buy regular bread, and they call it sourdough in the store, if you read the ingredients, they've put vinegar in it. They've used some sort of vinegar to give it that acid taste. And they'll use molasses to tell you that it's whole wheat, and they'll put bran in it in place of the wheat germ. So they do a lot of tricks. So if you want to be healthy, you really, really have to take care of it. And now researchers are finding out that your health sometimes on antidepressants and certain drugs, the natural way is the better way, and they're finding out the body responds better without any side effects. So we're learning something that our great-great-grandparents already knew because they didn't have yeast to buy, they had to grow it themselves. Okay, now into here we're going to add 1.5 teaspoons of salt. I forgot my measuring spoons again. I'm using kelp though in place of I feel safer sometimes with kelp because it doesn't have so much sodium in it. And I don't like taking medicine, so I'll do everything to make sure I stay off the medication unless I absolutely, unequivocally, I mean go through the whole thing. So, I've got this. 2 tablespoons of sugar. Now here's where I'm just going to add some extra powdered milk into it. And I will add a tablespoon of wheat germ. If you want, you could add a half a cup of whole wheat flour if you wish. But my wheat flour is in the freezer and it'll be just too cold, so I'm just not going to do that. Now, they don't want the butter to completely melt. They only want it to start. So mine's already doing that. Make sure this is not too hot because you don't want to kill your yeast. Okay. Let me get a cup of flour. Now I've already used 1 cup of flour, so I have to minus 1 cup of flour from the recipe. Okay. So don't worry, I'll give you the whole recipe later. I have to add 2 cups. Let me get my 1 cup measure, which would be easier for me. I should have taken out my whole wheat flour last night and just left it out overnight. And then I could have used it this morning, but I didn't think about it. Didn't remember, if I'm being honest about it. adding a fourth in, I'm working it in. Adding another fourth in. So those microbes actually break down each mineral, break down the sugar and everything, so it doesn't affect your body as much. But you must catch all 400 plus. They said there's 400 plus, so I'm just saying 400, but they do say there's more. And they're in the air, and in the spring, they are so easy to capture. It's like they're hungry. I have no problem capturing them. Now I'm gonna put a half a cup here. So it's not luck that you have your health, it's how you eat. You eat the right foods, you care, prepare it well, and stuff to have your health. What causes diseases? And I hate to say this, but they know this, so I'm going to bring information that's already there. Every 7 years, every one of your cells takes 7 years to replace every cell in your body. Now, if you're healthy during that time that those cells of a certain organ or area is being replaced and you've eaten well, those cells will be healthy. But if you don't, the next day, and other cells are being replaced, those cells that are being replaced are not as healthy as the first. And this goes through your cycle. Every 7 years, it just keeps on going and going and going. And if you're not eating well during that time frame, those cells get so weak, replacing each cell that's replaced gets weaker and weaker and weaker and weaker and weaker, till finally it cannot replace itself and it dies. So that's one cell that's not replaced and it sits there in the organ. So by the time you've hit 50, 60, even some people in the 40s, by then those cells are dead and they're scar tissue. You can't replace them. They're dead, they're gone. And then disease sets up because each cell does something. So that cell can't do this. You could end up with heart condition. You could end up with kidney disease. You could end up with liver problems. You could end up with diabetes. You could end up with arthritis. That's just naming a few. And whatever organs are digestive problems, you keep on eating poorly, you keep on tearing this body down. And finally the cells are so weak after generation being weak before before the previous one that had to be replaced, it adds up. So you are, as this is researchers, it's not me, I'm just bringing information to you. You are literally what you eat throughout your life. They have found out that these are some things that speed up the process. Alcohol, drugs, illegal, smoking, coffee, Coffee, believe it or not, interferes with the digestive system. Tea interferes with the digestive system, which is a chain reaction, and after so many years, things start, well, the cells can't get this, so they're going to end up dying. And that's where diseases come from. We're actually our own worst enemies. So, that's how the body works, and the simplicity of the body and its aging process. And stuff that we put on the skin, we end up hurting it as well. If we knew half the stuff that they sell us and know what was really in it, I think we'd all be shocked. So you're probably wondering, am I on any medications? Do I take aspirins? I haven't taken any. The only medication I have to take is when poison ivy and I get in touch with each other. I do react. Poison ivy and I do not get along. Even Suma, and what's the other one? Poison oak. We do not get along. We're enemies. Other than that, I don't take any medicine. I really don't. I don't think I've had an aspirin in 3-4 years. And before that, I only took it like once a year, you know. Okay, what I'm doing is kneading this right now. You saw me put everything in and beat it, and now I'm kneading it. And next thing we're going to do is we're going to divide it into 6. I hope I can get these level. I never get these level, but I do work at it. And we're going to shape them. And I'm going to put them in the pan here. And they will rise. And then I will sit there and brush them and take care of them. And I'll show you that stage when I get there. Unless I have to do it now. I don't think I have to do it now. I might have to. I don't remember. I don't make these all the time. I have this lovely cookbook that has over 15 hamburger recipes. So you know what I'm going to do. See, I know a lot of people are not overly fond of whole grains or, I should say health food, because as soon as you get health food, they assume you're going to be eating grass and stuff like that. But what it is to get the most nutritional value out of the food. So, I created this page to show you it doesn't take a lot to be healthier, you know? I have some recipes that are totally health food. And then I have other ones that aren't, and I have brought them up in nutritional value with trials and errors. I have to admit, trials and errors. And I bring it to you to help you in your family. Because seriously, a country's security is as strong and as safe as the health of the people. We have soldiers now that are on medication, breathing medication and all. and they're going to defend this country. When it comes down to it, it's those foot soldiers, and they have to be healthy. And healthy children are happier children. There's not as many arguments and anger in the house. Okay. Now what I've done is I flattened these out some because I know they're going to rise, okay? Let's see. Let me read just for a minute, okay? Then I'll be with you. All right, we're going to rest them 10 minutes, and then I'm going to come back and flatten them again, and then we're going to let them rise, okay? Now, before they go in the oven, we'll put a topping on them. All right, now I'm going to read the recipe. If you don't want to make it like a sourdough, I'll show you how to make it regularly, okay? You're going to need 1 cup of milk, 4 tablespoons of a soft butter. You're going to need 3 cups of flour, 1.5 teaspoons of salt, 2 tablespoons of sugar, and 2 teaspoons of yeast, okay? And 1 teaspoon of minced dried onions, sesame seeds, poppy seeds, flaxseed seed, broadleaf plantain seeds to put on top. Okay, now here we're going to go. I'm going to read how you put those ingredients together. You warm the milk and butter. Warm butter and milk until butter starts to melt. Place all of the ingredients into a mixing bowl. Add a bit of additional flour or water to make a soft dough. Grease a bowl and place the dough, turning to coat all sides. Let it rise until double. Then divide it into 6 pieces. Roll each into a smooth ball. Lightly grease a pan. Cover the pan and let the buns rest 10 minutes. Then press each one flat on the top. Okay, that's where we're at. Okay, so the rest of it we'll be doing the same. All right, so I'll see you in 10 minutes. Okay, it's been 10 minutes. Now what they want you to do is take the palm of your hand and press down on your rolls, okay? And if you're not doing sourdough, they're going to tell you cover them and let them rest for an hour, okay? Mine's going to take a little longer because I have wild yeast and they take longer to rise. But I do not cover them. That is the difference. I'll just keep them back here until they rise. Okay, so as soon as yours double up, because mine's going to take longer, you're going to need the rest of the recipe. Okay, they say cover, let rise 1 hour. These are for people who are not using sourdough. Okay, then they want you to bake it from 12 to 15 minutes. Now for the topping, you take an egg white and a tablespoon of cold water, and you sit there, beat it, and then brush them on top. And then you can sprinkle them. They recommend dry onion, but you can use poppy seed, sesame seed, flaxseed as well. You can also use broadleaf seeds, as I said earlier. And that's it, okay? That's how you do it. And for you that are doing it the sourdough way, I'll see you when mine rises double. Sorry, I forgot to give you the temperature to cook it at. You're going to cook it at 375, okay? Sorry about that. Okay, it's that time. We're going to turn the oven to 375. The shelf has to be in the middle of the oven. And they want me we need an egg white and a tablespoon of water. So this is how I do it. Crack this egg very gently. Don't put your finger in there because you don't want to break the egg yolk. Okay, pour the egg yolk into 1/2 and the white comes off. That's it. Sometimes you can use your fingers, you know, if the egg yolk cracks to the point where you can't, you know, use the other half of it. You sit there and spread your fingers just a little bit, let it just fall into your hand gently, and the white will come off, and you'll have the yolk just slide it in. Now to the egg white, we're going to add 1 tablespoon of cold water. That's all you need. We're going to beat this, and I forgot my brush. This is a sourdough. See how they're fluffed up? And if you look, you can also see that they have risen up as well. You see, they're puffing up over. That's just about where they have to be. The one thing about sourdough is you never know if you get it right until you cut them. You're going to brush these. They're just coming out really, really nice. I am going to broadleaf plantain seeds on top of mine, but I've already given you a multiple choice. If you don't want any seeds on them, just brush them on top and that's it. Put as many on as you want. You can even put some dry garlic on it, flakes. You can do it with the hot dog bun recipe when I make it, the same way. The reason I like using these is I harvested these and they're high in omega-3s, just like flaxseed. And you need them, so it's free. Just a little bit of work of picking them, you know, and dehydrating them, and that's what I did. I did dehydrate them some. So I figured they'll help, you know. Now we have to wait for the oven, and I think they'll look very nice. Now the egg yolk you can save and use in other things. I'm going to be using it this morning so I don't have to worry about it. So we're going to wait for the oven. And I'll be right back. Okay, we're gonna put them in the oven and cook them for 15 minutes. And I'll be back in 15 minutes and see how they came out. Okay, it's been 15 minutes. We're gonna check them out. Oh, they rose. This is what they'll look like. Okay? Now I have to let these cool before I can So take care. Bye-bye.